Hey there, everybody. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to day 14 of Perfect Album Sides. Alongside, once again, 2 days in a row, we've got him back again, Mr. Armando Venditti from Canada. What's happening, my friend? How are you?
I'm doing good, Pete. How are you doing?
Doing all right. Doing all right. I'm excited to talk about more perfect album sides because that's kind of what we do every morning this month, and possibly we'll be doing it next month again, right? I think everybody watching seems to like this, and I'm enjoying it. My guests who have been hopping on have been enjoying it, so
Yeah, it's a
why not
fantastic
2 months? Right?
idea.
It's a great idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great idea. So for those of you who are watching, if this is perhaps your first time checking out Perfect Album Sides, we are looking to find albums in our collection. Remember, albums are the recorded work. Vinyl LPs and cassettes and whatnot are the mediums, right? The formats. So we're kind of looking at like classic albums that were released in those formats at some point in time. Things, more recent things that have only been like CD releases. Kind of hard to do that because there really is no side. But with vinyl, obviously you have a side A, B, or 1 and 2 double album. You got more than that, and the criteria here is it has to be at least 2 or more songs on the side, and we must feel that each song is a 5 out of 5 star classic. So if you're looking at some like albums you really love, but one of those sides has a song that you're kind of like, yeah, that's okay, maybe that doesn't quite qualify, right? You got to really love every song that's on that album side. So what's been really cool about this is some albums that I thought would be automatic slam dunks for choices for this month. The more I look at them, and I'm like, well, you know what? Those 3 tracks are great. Yeah, that 4th one, it's okay. I like it. I don't love it. Not a 5 star classic, right? So that being said, I'm going to have Armando kick us off with his selection for today.
Once again, Pete, thank you for having me on. And yeah, when you look through these albums that you're thinking, okay, I'll pick this, you realize, no, it isn't going to work because the tracks aren't really what you would think are 5 out of 5. But not in this case. Ladies and gentlemen, my pick was released in 1975, November 21st, to be precise, on the Elektra Records label and EMI in the UK. Yes, it is Queen's A Night at the Opera. Okay. Exactly. And you would think that I would pick side 2 because that would be too easy. And I never do things easy. So I'm picking side 1. Okay. We are talking 7 tracks of perfection. Okay. And just a little brief background on the album. This album, it's their 4th album. This was their make or break album. They hadn't really made any money with Sheer Heart Attack because they were going through management issues. So they were looking around for management. They were actually going to sign with Peter Grant, who represented Led Zeppelin at the time. He wanted them to go on tour instead of recording an album. They ended up signing with John Reed, who represented Elton John. He said to them, go in the studio, make the best album you can make, and let me worry about the management issues with Trident Studios. So they went into the studio and they did what can be called as the magnum opus. Okay, but we're just going to tackle side 1. Side 1 starts with the acidic Death on 2 Legs. Starts out with, it's very theatrical, this whole album, but the track starts out with piano runs that Freddie Mercury is doing, and then the song comes in, and then you hear almost like, like people doing dun dun dun, like the guitars that come in. Almost sounds like Jaws to me. Like whenever I hear that, it reminds me of Jaws. The track is 3 minutes and 43 seconds of Freddie at his acidic best. Okay, and they were almost going to get sued by the Sheffield brothers because of the track. Then it goes into Lazing on a Sunday Afternoon, which is, it's a very British track. It's only 1 minute 8 seconds long. It's a pop track, but it's very British. The vocals were done to give like a megaphone effect. where he's singing the vocal. It goes through the line into a pair of headphones. The headphones were put into a coffee can, and the mic was put in the coffee can. So you got that megaphone effect. Okay. Then all the songs basically segue into one another. Then you segue into "I'm in Love with My Car," which a monster of a track. By the way, it was the B-side of Bohemian Rhapsody when it came out. Okay, it's in 6/8 time, right? But it's like, which is like a marching time, marching forward. So it's just a rocker, just like balls out rock. It's a composition from Roger Taylor, and he's on lead vocals. Okay. And for those who don't know, it's basically about a guy saying that he'd rather be with his car than his girlfriend or his wife. And that cars don't talk back when, they don't give you flack. So he'd rather have a relationship with his car. Okay. Then it goes into the beautiful pop track, "You're My Best Friend," written by John Deacon. This is what I call pop perfection / confection, because it's just a beautiful track. You have John Deacon, who wrote it. He's on electric piano, because Freddie Mercury would never record on the electric piano. He called them vile, right? If you can believe that. They were things to him, right? After that comes the space folk track 39, written by Brian May, and which with John Deacon on double bass. This track, it's basically talking about these guys who go on a trip on the space, like outer space, and they think that they're gone for a year, but when they come back, 100 years have passed due to time gestation and all that kind of stuff. So they realize that they think that they've come back to the life they've had, but their life has passed them by, and they're left with the memories of their loved ones. The last lyric on that on that track is, "For my life still ahead, pity me," which is what he's saying to whoever's going to listen to him at this point in time. Okay. Then it goes into "Sweet Lady," another Brian May rocker. Thing is, what's beautiful about this track is it's in 3/4 time. And then there's a midsection that's in 4/4. But it's just a bruiser of a track. And you've got Freddie coming in. Oh yeah, you got Freddie coming in white hot on the vocals. I'm surprised his throat didn't bleed by the end of the recording for this. Then the very last track on side 1 is "Seaside Rendezvous," which is another Freddie Mercury track. It's 2 minutes and 14 seconds. Again, very British pop, almost like a 1920s flapper kind of a feel to it, right? Yep. The midsection has woodwinds, like horn instruments. But here's the trick. Freddie Mercury and Roger Taylor do all the woodwinds, do the trumpets, do all that kind of stuff, do all those instruments on their own, but with their mouths, right, with their abilities. So, and that ends off side 1. So thinking back on it this morning, it's almost like when you start listening to the album as a whole, you enter a theater and you're almost like in the balcony seats and you're looking down. And, when the piano starts on "Death on Two Legs," the show starts. And the last track ends with when he says, "Give me a kiss," or "Give us a kiss." And that ends the track. So ends the side. So it's almost like an intermission that's going to happen before side 2 starts. So for me, its complexity is what its simplicity is, because they knew when they went into the studio, they had the time, they had the money, they knew what they wanted to create, and they were given the time to do it. And they had a clear idea of what they wanted to do. And they did it. Executed, perfection. Nope, done. And that's my side 1.
Yep. Yeah, if I was to look at this album, I probably would. It's funny because you look at side 2, and it's got the Prophet song, which I love.
Bombast.
So good.
Galore.
I love Love of My Life. Beautiful song.
Amazing.
Good Company's okay. That's for me. Good Company. Then you got Bohemian Rhapsody. Obviously, everybody knows about that. And then you got God Save the Queen, which kind of a throwaway, right? So for me, I'm like, as much as I love Prophet's Song, Love of My Life, and Bohemian Rhapsody, those other two tracks for me would knock that side off for me. It's really good. It's great. But I agree with you. I think side one is the place to be. And side one has so much variety. It's got a couple of heavy rockers. It's got a great pop song. It's got those couple of like kind of British quirky theatrical pop things, you know, throwbacks to the 20s and 30s. It's got the great folk song 39. Lots of love on that side.
Yeah, and the complexity that went into it, like all the instrumentation that went into it. That's why I said it's simplicity lies within its complexity, because again, they knew exactly what they wanted to do.
Yeah.
And they were given time to do it. Right. And they used 7 bloody studios simultaneously in order to do it. So they executed it perfectly. Right.
Crazy
and
stuff.
Picking side 2, like with Bohemian Rhapsody, that'd be too easy for me. Like, you know, it's like, oh, might as well, you know what? I want to give myself a challenge. And there's a challenge. And I think I met it pretty good. So, I mean, it's
good choice. Good choice.
Thank you so much.
All right. So for mine, we're going to go back to January 4th, 1967 for this album, which was released on Elektra Records. It is the debut album from this band from, I believe they're from somewhere in California. Self-titled, release from The Doors. Jim Morrison and Company, right? Produced by Paul Rothchild. Some may say that this entire album is absolute perfection. I would say perhaps, maybe close, but I think that for me, side 1 or side A really is the perfect album side for me here. So we've got the opening track, Break On Through, one of the band's hardest rockers. I mean, you know, you're a young band and your debut album starts off with a song like Break On Through to the Other Side. I mean, it's this whole album is very kind of psychedelic and just really different from a lot of stuff that was coming out at the time. But Break On Through is just a great, fast-paced hard rocker, great vocals from Jim Morrison. Then you got the really kind of whimsical, catchy pop, psychedelic pop, Soul Kitchen, which I absolutely think is just an irresistible song. And it's got those great keyboards from Ray Manzarek. You've got the Crystal Ship, which is just this haunting, like, I don't even know how to describe it. What is it? Is it pop? Is it psych? Is it something from another planet? I don't know. And it's just got these amazingly like mysterious Jim Morrison vocals, and I love the production of the song. The Crystal Ship just kind of like swirls and floats, and it's so good. One of the underrated tracks on this album. Then you got 20th Century Fox, which is just a good kind of bluesy rock song, right? But just really, really catchy. Good guitar licks from Robbie Krieger. Really, really tasty blues rock song. I love that. And then you got Alabama Song, Whiskey Bar. You know, show me the way to the next whiskey bar. Oh, don't ask why. I mean, it's legendary. It's so good. It's so much fun. I mean, it's like the ultimate like drinking in a bar song. It's just, you know, I mean, how can you not? Anyway, so I got you. Yeah, well, but you know, it's like I remember like being a young kid and like I always kind of dug the Doors, even though I was always a hard rock and metalhead. But man, when a song like that came on and you're out at a bar somewhere, you're like, yeah, you know, how can you not sing along? It's great. And then of course the side ends with Light My Fire, which, you know, what can you say? It's one of the great like rock singles from the 60s. And it doesn't even matter that it's long, it works. And yes, all your radio stations, you should not cut the guitar solo. It's got to be played all the way through. None of these truncated versions will work. It's got to be that.
I hate when they do that.
I hate when they do it. They do it on Riders on the Storm too. It's just like, come on, man. It's like, don't cut me solo, for crying out loud.
Yeah, when they play More Than a Feeling, they usually do that. They cut the verse out.
Yeah, it's like, don't do it. Don't do it. So yeah, for me, I mean, this is a fairly, well, you know, the Doors songs were kind of short. So you got Break On Through is 2:25, Soul Kitchen 3:30, Crystal Ship 2:30, 20th Century Fox 2:30, Alabama Song 3:15, and Light My Fire is just under 7. So, and side 2 is pretty damn good too, right? Backdoor Man is a good bluesy rocker. I Looked at You I like, but I don't think that that's a 5 out of 5. End of the Night is cool. Also, it's kind of creepy. I don't know if that is a 5 out of 5. Take It As It Comes is really great. And of course, The End might even be my favorite song on the whole album. But I still think that side A is just unbeatable, as far as like Doors albums. I looked at all the Doors albums to look, because I wanted to pick them this month. And none of them were kind of slam dunk choices. And the more I looked at this and this side, I was like, yeah, this is the one. I think this is the one. So there you have it. My choice is side A of the Doors self-titled debut. So there you have our picks for today, everybody. We got 2 side A's. Side A's of Queen and Night at the Opera. Side A, the Doors. Let us know what you think of both of these perfect album sides that we have chosen today, but also make sure you list your perfect album side choice down below in the comments today and each and every day. Tomorrow's the 15th of the month. Man, I can't believe we're halfway through the month already. What the hell is going on? 2022 is flying by already. It's crazy. So, yeah, it's nuts. So I want to thank Armando for jumping on board again with us today. And I think we'll be seeing him at some other point throughout this series. And like I said before, we might be doing this in June as well, because it's been very well received and a lot of fun. And I know I've been enjoying doing it. I think the viewers have been enjoying watching it and picking out their album sides. And I know the folks I've had guests on some of these episodes have enjoyed it as well. So I think there's a lot of
fantastic idea.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's fun. It's a kind of a different way to look at albums, right? And it really makes you think. Yeah, because you're really critiquing these albums that you really love and thinking, well, do I really love all the songs on that side, right? Because like I said, there were a bunch that I was considering where, if there's 4 tracks and 3 of them are like drop dead classics. And then I'm like that, but that 4th one, I'm like, yeah, I like that song, but I don't love it. Not like the others, right? So maybe not perfect then. So,
well, just quickly, there are days when you can sit and listen to that one song that may not be 5 out of 5, and there are days when you just hit the skip button.
Skip, yeah, exactly, yeah.
Right? Or pick up the needle and move it over. Right?
Yeah.
Those guys like tone arms and turntables. So yeah.
I mean, I have a lot of very favorite albums of mine where there's 1 or 2 songs that maybe I skip on there that I'm not really that crazy about. All the others I love with every part of my being, and I still love the albums, because I've said it many times. Sometimes you can have a favorite album that maybe you really love 90% of it so much that it offsets those 1 or 2 tracks you don't maybe love as much, right? Because you love those other ones so much. I think it's very rare that we come across an album where, like, if it's got 10 tracks, you love all 10 equally. It doesn't always work that way.
No,
sometimes, but not not always.
And that's for anything, really. Like any album. I mean, you're right. It's
So this has been fun because, like you said, it does make you think, and it makes you really kind of take stock and really analyze some of these albums and think, well, it's like, how close to perfect is this side? Is it or isn't it? So it's challenging. Yeah, it's true. So there you have it, everybody. Queen and the Doors are our choices for today. Visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. Check us out and like us on Facebook, but more importantly, join us here each and every day as we're all together on YouTube. For Armando Venditti, I am Pete Pardo. Thanks for watching, everybody. Please hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so you don't miss any of our content, any of our shows, and we'll be back tomorrow morning with another one. So thanks for watching, everybody. See you then. Bye-bye.
Have a good day.